Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The UK Defense Secretary, Mr. Shapps, Grant Shapps, A. Zelensky-Stein, abandoned Odesa trip because of a security threat. So this guy who represents you, the British people, I'm talking about English, Welsh, Irish, Scottish, or Scots. These are, okay, so I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about, Romanians moving into England or something. No. Talk about, all right. So this guy who represents you, Shapps, he's the defense secretary. Supposedly he's in charge of kind of like your military. So he goes and visits his buddy from his own, I can't call it that way. I will call it club, but I would use something that starts with a T. All right, so he comes to Kiev and meets his buddy in order to take care of the European, that is Putin. So let me show you these two articles. BBC, Ukraine war, Grant Shapps abandoned Odesa trip over security threat. This English guy, all right, he goes over there. Now I'm going to show you what he did. Aborted a trip to southern Ukraine last week for security reasons, the UK Defense Ministry said. The Defense Secretary had to scrap his visit to Odessa last week after UK intelligence reportedly warned Russia had become aware of his travel plans. What are they going to do? Kill him like these guys tried to do with the European Russians? Anyway, let's move on. Next one. I picked this for this little picture. Yes, guys, you did it. You're in charge. You're in charge, but you're not in charge of Russia. That's the problem. They are not in charge of either Soviet Union or Russia. Therefore, it's okay. They are in charge of Ukraine, Great Britain to a certain extent, I think 100%, but hey, what can I say? United States of America and other countries. Yes, guys, you did it. And you're not shy at all. You come out and actually these idiots will say, hey, these guys are working for us. No, they're not. But anyway, this picture reminds me of this picture. And what do we have here? Another guys from the same club. Club. Who's this? This is Antony Blinken, the guy in charge of the US foreign policy. Just a coincidence. Hey, what do we have here? Here we have Miss Yellen, an imbecile. Again, part of the same club, in charge of our money, right? You know who she is, right? Secretary of what? Of our treasury, right? Treasury secretary. There she is. Money, foreign policy, military of Great Britain. And hey, we got something else right here. You know who this is? This is Miss Penny Pritzker. Who's Penny Pritzker? It's a U.S. person. She's an American. And again, the same club right there. Biden names U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine's economic recovery. So she's going to be the one in charge of getting money, companies to invest and rebuild, recover Ukraine. They're in charge of the money again, right? This is since September 14, 2023. U.S. President Joe Biden, idiot, has appointed Penny Pritzker as a U.S. Special Representative for Ukraine Economic Recovery. Yes, Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced. Okay, so you got Blinken, you got Pritzker, you got, where is he? Yellen, you got Shapps, all this against the European. I'm not decrying this guy, but they want this guy out so they can take care of Russia. Because why? They were kicked out. They were kicked out, my friends. So this guy, the European, and these guys right here, right there. All right? And this is just a little glance on who's who, what's what. There's much more and many more. Now, Shapps canceled his visit to Odessa because the Russians knew. I think the Russians knew before he jumped on the plane in London. All right, I think they knew. I think the Russians they have order not to blow up these guys, like British, Americans, even Zelensky. I think that's my assessment. I think the Russians have exact, precise, direct order not to shoot down Zelensky's plane. I think they could have done it many, many times. Why? First, his location. Secondly, they can find him wherever he is at. He flies too much, right, not to be identified as a target. And I haven't heard yet the Russians hitting any plane where they might think Zelensky is, if they really want it. So this 100% silence makes me wonder. Actually, it doesn't make me wonder. It makes me draw the conclusion that the Russians don't want to do anything to this guy. If Zelensky, and I hope it doesn't happen. I think he should be brought in front of the court of law, ran by Europeans, not only Europeans, the Europeans, not Scholz and these guys, not Macron, not those kinds of Europeans, the Europeans. And that's what I hope. Not I don't want him to be anything like that happen to him. If he's going to be blown up, and I hope it will not, it's going to be by his own forces. And then it's going to be blamed the other ones because they need to create again, their mass media has to create a martyr, a symbol. But if the Russians take care of these guys in Ukraine, then that's going to be forgotten. A different kind of history will be taught in school, in the Ukrainian or Russian schools from Ukraine. So my friends, yes, he was afraid. No, I think it's just a stunt. And by the way, you're a defense minister. You should be the most courageous guy of us all. Remember when the generals used to be leaders? Or remember in the medieval times where brave kings were leading their armies against the invaders, or not even? Remember that? Well, that's the way it used to be before. Right now, they're all behind in, certain kind of rooms, and they have other people doing what they should be doing. Hey, things changed, values changed, balls deflated in our society. So remember, these guys against the European. And if this European country falls, then Europe will definitely be, how should I put it, erased from the pages of history. Just to use Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's exact translation of something. Remember that one? Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, a very, very, very intelligent Iranian former president and a very good academic. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.